Blink, blinkety blink. I think I'm live. No, I don't want to hear me. No. Hi, how are you? It's Tuesday. Welcome. Welcome aboard. I'm just trying to get something up. That's not something I should be saying. See, I start, going over dirty jokes that are not so dirty, and now I'm starting to be dirty, which is not good. I'm just trying to get my YouTube up here so I could see if I can say hello to anybody. Good, it's already thing. Hey, Barry, good morning. Thank you so much for being here bright and early. Well, it's actually late. This is actually late for me. Let me take that off. Hi, everyone. Kiki here. And if you like classic hits, go ahead, listen to the free app, download it, kiki.fm. Also, please subscribe to this channel if you like just random news, music, entertainment, whatever. Dirty but not so dirty jokes until I run out of them. There's not a lot. Let me tell you. There's not a ton. Like, I'm running out. And also, like the video and hit the notification bell to let you know when I am on live. I don't know if I'm going to be on Thanksgiving morning. I might. It depends. Depends on how I'm feeling. Nothing going on here. Al and I are going to have a ham in the crock pot. Which is fine because, like I said, I think I said it already. The recipes for crockpot ham, ridiculous. You get brown sugar, butter, canned pineapple. Is there anything better? No, because the syrup it's going to be sitting in for hours is going to be, and I'm not calling that gravy. I'm calling that sweet crack. So I can't wait to eat that. And then what else am I going to make? I'm going to make some butternut squash, Brussels sprouts. I put brown sugar on those too. However, I may not because it's going to be a little too much. So I might just do olive oil and salt and pepper on the Brussels sprouts, and it'll be a fine meal for the two of us. And also, we're having a yard sale Friday and Saturday because I know we talk about it all the time. We're cleaning it out, and it feels good. It really does. I mean, it's been a lot of work getting to the next one, the next yard sale. Yeah, it's only going to be 40 degrees in Rhode Island, but we're going to be the only one. We're going to be the only nutballs having a yard sale. So hopefully y'all will come and buy our stuff. So that should be interesting. We'll see how that goes. But we got to take a chunk, get rid of it, move on to the next chunk. I'm thinking a good 3 or 4 more yard sales and we should be cleaned out. It's sad. It really is sad because, I pull out my stuff and I'm like, God, I have good stuff. I have had good taste going picking over the years, but it is what it is. You can only do it for so long. Things only last for so long. It's true. It's true. It's like this. It's like that. eBay was great to me. I have to say, it was great to me for a long time. It was a fantastic part-time gig, but it's just the ship has sailed and I'm sick of collecting things. I like just yard sailing and getting stuff for me. I mean, you could really find great stuff for the house. So why not? I'm still always going to do that. And I'm still always going to, flip a little bit, like just, when I feel the flipping need. Other than that, yeah, I can't do what I was doing. Like I said, it's just too much and my brain can't handle it anymore. Isn't that weird? My brain cannot handle a lot of stuff anymore. I don't know. I don't know what happens to us as we get older. But boy, things are changing and I'm starting to have no filter. I'm reminding myself of my mom, which is she had no filter at all at the end. Like nothing. There was no smoke screen, nothing. She just went at it. Whatever was right here came out here. And I'm basically like that now anyway, but she was funny. She was really funny. All right, let's see. Hey, Cindy, good morning. And Chrissy, you're here. Good morning. And Barry said, I'm in the future. It's only 6:11 there. Well, yeah, we're 7:14 here right now at this moment. And Barry said, brown sugar on Brussels sprouts. Never heard of that. Interesting. Let me tell you, Barry, if you have never, what you do is, I'll just go quicksy here. I buy the Brussels sprouts fresh. I mean, I do make the frozen ones occasionally, but I do like the fresh ones because they get nice and crispy. Cut your fresh Brussels sprout in half, you still coat it with olive oil, and then sprinkle brown sugar. Oh my gosh. Thank me later. Thank me later, and you let them roast for at least 40 to 45 minutes. And those suckers are like it's like Brussels sprout candy. I'm not even kidding you, and it's good for you, and Al still won't eat them. It's like, "Oh, no, I can't chew them." Yes, you can, dude. You can chew them because 'cause they're soft. But he chooses to not eat healthy, and I know you can hear me, Al. I know you can hear me. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into this ridiculous news of the day. Not ridiculous, but, I'm all over the place. However, not with this one. This is from Ultimate Classic Rock. Guns N' Roses announced 2026 North American tour dates. So this is their first tour in about 3 years. Kicks off July 23rd in Raleigh, North Carolina. Wraps up on September 19th in Atlanta. They're going to have 41 dates scheduled. It's going to be a world tour. And they're also going to be performing in South America and Europe. Now, we know that Axel has not had the best critique on his voice. I even did a little vid about, comparing his voice or whatever to, how it sounds and how it used to sound and all that stuff. And no, not everyone is sounding the same. We talked about Vince Neil and Motley Crue yesterday and how Nikki Sixx is online defending him. And you got to give it to Vince. He said he's had 4 strokes allegedly. So the guy is also battling internal health issues. With Axel, I don't know. It's probably just a progression of aging. Hi, we're all doing it. Every day, every minute, every second, we're all aging and we're all changing. So again, with Vince, you know what you're getting when you buy a ticket to go see Motley Crue. And I think with Axel, it's the same thing. And all of these folks, you know what you're getting already. There's bad critiques out there. There are good critiques out there. If you just want to go and see your guys on that stage, you're just going to buy the ticket anyway. You don't care. But there are always going to be, people to critique in the worst way possible. I do that. I mean, sometimes. I try to not do it all the time because it's not really nice. It's not. Even though people like that stuff. Guns N' Roses last toured North America in 2023, and that last show was on November 2nd in that year at the Hollywood Bowl in LA. And the band is going to release 2 new songs on December 2nd called Nothing and Atlas, 2 one-word songs. And Nothing is without the letter G at the end. Let's see. After taking 2024 off completely, rest up, do what they got to do some Axel stuff. The band returned with the unusually titled Because What You Want and What You Get Are Two Completely Different Things tour. And that kicked off May 1st in South Korea. And I have read that Axel, I got to wipe my nose for this one. Let me wipe my nose first. I think Axel allegedly gets 50% of the band's proceeds. And the other guys have to split it between, the rest between themselves. Let me just look that up for a moment. Hold, please. All right. How do Guns N' Roses split their earnings? Oh, I think so. I think Axel is the big fat money winner in that one. Guns N' Roses' earnings split has changed over time, but in the early days, there was a specific songwriting daily split. Royalty split, sorry. I had to go and make sure my Google Meet didn't kick me off. Duff McKagan, Slash, and Izzy Stradlin each received 20%, while Axl Rose and Steven Adler took 25%. That was for Axl, and 15% for Steven, respectively. Why did Steven get 5% less than the other guys? Isn't that weird? However, according to a former manager in 2025, Axl Rose now takes 50% of the band's income, while Slash and Duff get 25% each, with the remainder being handled by Axl. Whoa. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd play, man. I mean, I guess still 20%'s a lot. Like, just say they made, all right, hold on. Am I good at math? No. I'm no I don't deny that. So just say they make $1,000,000, right? And then 20% of that, it's 200 grand. That's so Axel's getting half a million and the other dudes are getting 200 grand each and change. That's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Does Steven still get 15? I guess Steven still would get some type of royalty payment. I don't know. You let me know in the comments. But oh, wait a minute. So the original split we just talked about, Steven Adler considered the 15% he got a gift from Axel. Axel reportedly received an extra 5% of Steven Adler's earnings to get the band on even splits. Wow. And other touring musicians are paid a weekly or per gig salary. I don't know, man. That just seems not nice. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem nice to me. Whatever. It's your stuff. And Tanya, good morning. So there's that tour. And, Axl Rose, he stepped in for AC/DC for some time. And, he changed his face all around. I don't know why he did that. He looked fine to me. Don't you think so? I think that Axl looked good. I don't think he should have done anything. He kinda looks a little like on the line of Mickey Rourke. Not saying because Mickey Rourke, I don't know what he did, but, like, the kind of a little bit of the same, maybe they went to the same doctor. I don't know. So, let's see, da, da, da. This is what AI says about Axel. Known for his volatile behavior, or is it I say volatile. You may say volatile. And perfectionism. Internal band struggles led to the departure of all original members except Rose by the mid 90s. He became a recluse for a period. He did. He disappeared. Working on the long delayed album Chinese Democracy, which was finally released in 2008. And yeah, it says here too, Axl was temporary lead singer in AC/DC in 2016. Also part of Hollywood Rose and LA Guns. Interesting. So let us know in the comments if you will be attending a Guns N' Roses concert in 2026. And who did not watch the Brady Bunch? I mean, can I just say I watched every episode millions of times over and over again because that was all that was on TV. I mean, I was a TV kid. I really was. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but girl, I watched TV day in, day out. I would have the radio on while I got ready for school for years, years and years and years. And then I transitioned to having the TV on whenever I could. Well, also the radio, but TV was so big in my life. So, so big. And I'm guessing some of you have the same thing, same upbringing as I did. Not the same, but you like TV as well, because what else was there to do, really? I mean, we didn't have the internet. Thank God. I don't think I would be here if we had the internet. I really don't. I think I would have been bullied into non-existence. I'm dead serious. Anywho. So Barry Williams talks about how filming was difficult with Marsha. And why would that be? So this is from thelist.com. Maureen McCormick and Barry Williams' off-screen relationship made Brady Bunch filming difficult. I never noticed anything, but again, I was a naive kid. and I noticed nothing about nothing. A lot of these TikTokers doing these lyrics and what they hear compared to what the song is really saying, or vice versa. They'll listen to what the song is really saying and react to it. And it's so funny. But I was just dumb. I was really dumb, not thinking that maybe these were not real people. I did. I thought the Brady Bunch, they were a real family, Partridge Family. They were real, man. They were real. And Shirley Jones just taking it all on herself as a single mom. Like, I didn't even know what a single mom was. I was so dumb. I'm telling you, I was dumb. And the beginning of this article, I did not read this before, but it says the Brady Bunch kids might have seemed like a real family on screen. They were real to me, completely. But behind the scenes, it was a much different story. Barry Williams, who was Greg Brady, said, "We all hooked up with each other at some point." What do you mean we all? Greg and Peter? No, please don't. We can't go there. I'm going to say no. That did not happen. I'm thinking it was the guys with the girls. But who knows nowadays? We just don't know. So everybody goes through trends. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's frightening. But anyway, okay. So most of the on-screen siblings were romantically involved off screen. Most. There were 6. They were 3 and 3, right? Including Christopher Knight and Eve Plum. Jan and Peter, really? I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed that. But they were teenagers. Their hormones were going like berserk at that point, right? And Bobby and Cindy actors Mike Lookinland and Susan Olsen. Really? I don't. So really, you shouldn't say most of the on-screen siblings, because that's all of them. That's literally all of them paired off with each other. So maybe that word should be taken out. And Barry seems to have gotten around the most. He even dated Florence Henderson. Now, I've read that and I've heard that rumor, but did he really? He says he did, but I don't know. I have a hard time accepting that one. I really do. And I don't even know if Florence has she really come out and said anything about her dating Barry, Greg, her son? Ew. It's just, I can't comprehend that. Anyway, but it was his romantic feelings for Maureen McCormick, Marsha, that got in the way of their scenes as brother and sister. Yeah, I would think so. Like, we're just in the backseat of my car. Now I have to pretend that I'm your big brother. Come on. I just can't. All right. So he said, here's one of the things he said. I remember the scene. I remember the day Lloyd Schwartz, he was the producer of the Brady Bunch, discovered that there might have been a little too much attraction between brother and sister. And the scene came from season 4, episode 23, called A Room at the Top, where Greg and Marsha were battling for the attic bedroom. I remember that one. I remember all of them. McCormick's beauty hindered Williams' performance. And he said, Maureen McCormick is very, very attractive. Also saying, so I was, gravitated right to her, and it was coming out in our scenes together. So the article goes on to say things apparently got so steamy during the on-screen moment when Greg went to, oh, it's okay, Marsha, that Lloyd Schwartz had to step in and he had to pull Greg aside and say, good scene. I just want you to keep in mind here that she is your sister. Man, where are the outtakes from that? That's what we should be seeing right now. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. And let's see, Greg and Marsha had their first kiss on the set. Okay, so Barry and Maureen didn't hide their chemistry very well, as their fellow castmates on the Brady Bunch noticed their spark. And in a 2025 episode of the Real Brady Bros podcast, I didn't even know that was a thing, they were reminiscing about the 1973 episode. The subject was the noses. Remember that when Marsha, she got hit in the face with a football in the backyard with the fake grass? Oh my gosh. And I didn't really feel like it was fake grass, but in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't real grass, but I thought the house was really real, but the house was real, but it wasn't. Stop. Anywho, so Williams co-star Christopher Knight, he was Peter, and he recalled the connection between Greg and Maureen. And Peter compared their on-screen love interest. Oh my gosh. Oh, because Charlie. Charlie was Maureen Marsh's boyfriend, telling Williams, "You were looking at her at times the way the directions in the script probably told Charlie to look at Marsha." So, how Charlie should have been looking at Marsha, it was actually Barry looking at Marsha with lust deep down inside for his sister slash not sister. Oh my gosh. And of course, they have both come out, Greg and Marsha, said they did date. And on a 2013 episode of Oprah, Where Are They Now? Maureen said that Barry was her first kiss. That's so cute. Oh, and it was when they were filming the Hawaii episodes. Remember that? I thought that was the craziest thing. The whole scorpion, and it was like a series. It says it was 4 episodes. I remember that. And literally, I was so fascinated by the fact that they didn't just have 1 episode in Hawaii, it was 4. And you would wait until the next week. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Well, I guess that's when they had their first kiss, which is kind of crazy. And Barry actually also recently did an interview for People magazine, and the title of that is Barry Williams explains how producer Lloyd Schwartz stood up for child actors while filming The Brady Bunch. I mean, a lot of these child actors got screwed big time out of money. And I think Cindy, I think she has come out and said a lot of things about it, but let's see. Did Barry Williams credited producer Lloyd Sherwood, show creator Sherwood Schwartz, put him in charge of the child actors on the show for understanding what they needed. And Barry said the focus really was on the kids and their lives. This is too a part of the genius of Lloyd Schwartz and Sherwood Schwartz both. The way to keep us connected to what we were doing here was to let us be kids and fool around with each other. Let's not forget that. It should have said, let teenagers be teenagers. And then once you're on set, knock it off. Lloyd recalled being tasked with minding the kids and how that leaked into the show's production. I basically would look at the show from the kids' point of view, and my dad would have the point of view of the adult. But, like, what happened to their money? I got to go there for a little brief second. Let's see. Brady Bunch kids' money. Let's see. The Brady Bunch kids earned modest weekly salaries and did not receive long-term residuals. I do recall reading that from the show's decades of reruns. And let me tell you, that show reran constantly because contracts in that era only paid for the first 10 runs in syndication. That sucks. Like, can you imagine? While the highest paid child actor made around $1,100 per week in the final season, this was not a large sum considering the impact on their families during the show's run, with one actor, Christopher Knight, noting the income was crucial for his family's survival. Damn. And syndication residuals, residual payments for reruns were very limited. Contracts at the time paid for only the first 10 runs in syndication, so the money ran out in the 1970s. And I do remember, I think I read, allegedly, they ran out of money because the higher ups took it all. And the need to be financially responsible for their families at a young age was a burden for some, particularly Knight, who expressed that it wasn't a child's job to support their parents. Oof, there's so many of these stories, though. And again, when you take a step back and look at how these shows impacted our lives, like I still look at the Brady Bunch as just, a great memory of mine. TV was a memory of mine. I loved watching it. I loved really immersing my whole self into these shows because that's what I had. That's what I had growing up, right? My brother's 8 years older than me, he wasn't around, he was out, whatever. My mom, she didn't play with me, like, no, she didn't, she just let me do my own thing, which was fine, but these shows were like a part of me. So, I have great memories, and it does make me sad that, years later, decades later, learning that they really didn't get much, and really, like Peter Brady having to support his family on his income, that shouldn't have been a thing. That's absolutely true. Can't imagine, what he dealt with later on in life. So, like, what happened now? Like, what are the Brady Bunch kids' net worth today? Let's see. And, they're all doing other things. They're all out there trying to make appearances, and I'm sure they get paid for that. So the net worths of the surviving Brady Bunch kids vary, with Christopher Knight estimated at 10 million. Now remember, Christopher has a whole furniture line and all of that stuff. So he had to retransition himself, pivot, and do something to make more money. Let's see. Original cast. The original child actors earned modest salaries and their contracts had limited residual payments. Yeah, you already said that. Okay, let's go to this one. Which Brady Bunch sibling has the highest net worth today? Well, I'm gonna go. I don't even know yet. I haven't scrolled all the way down. I'm gonna have to say it's Christopher Knight. He's got to be because he does the furniture stuff. Let's see. Come on, come on. Let's just go down here. Remember, he dated that model from, and he married her from Next Top Model, Adrienne Curry, and she's all over TikTok now, and she has gray hair, and she sells Avon. It's so funny, but she seems really cool. All right, Mike Lookinland, he was Bobby. All right, so what is he worth? It doesn't tell me. Oh, 2 million. All right, so he has an estimated net worth of 2 million. Not a lot in today's standards, right? Considering he's a TV icon. Maureen McCormick's net worth 4 million. Eve Plum, and wasn't that the crazy thing with Jan? Like there was one Jan, Eve Plum, and then there was a new Jan. And I was always confused by that. It's like, why are there two different Jans, but yet it looks like it's the same Jan? I don't know what happened there. So she's got an estimated net worth of 7 million. Susan Olsen, she was Cindy. She has an estimated net worth of 2 million. And I know she's really come out and said a lot of different things about her life in the Brady Bunch. Maybe if you want me to dive into that one day, we can definitely do that if you're interested. And she did become a graphic designer, and she worked as a talk radio host in LA until 2016. She's been married and divorced twice and has one child. So there you go. In case you were wondering, I'm not sure that was on your bingo card of things to know today, but Patty says, "Hi, Patty. How are you? TV at my house was on from when my parents got up until they went to bed. We had two TVs, so if my sister and I wanted to watch something different, we watched a 13-inch black and white in the kitchen. LOL. Same, same. Or I would always be so happy when my mom went to bed because then I could have her TV in the living room, which was bigger. I know. This was what we grew up with, right? Sherry says, "Hi, Sherry. Christopher was on a reality show about him, and then his girlfriend turned wife, now divorced." Yeah, yeah, that was it. It was I Married a Brady or something like that, and that was crazy. Like she seemed nuts on that show. Adrienne Curry, very controlling. Don't look at anybody else but me. Like it was that. But now she seems so chill, and you have to wonder when you go from that type of recognition as an artist or actor or whatever to just being completely out of the limelight, and then you come back decades later and you try to rebrand and rebuild yourself, like, oh, Susan Powter, remember her? She was a fitness guru in the 90s. She's on TikTok now, and she's doing all kinds of interviews and everything. She actually delivers, I think it's Uber Eats, and she's been doing that for like 9 years to survive. But now I think she's gaining momentum again because she did a documentary and Jamie Lee Curtis directed it or something like that. I haven't seen it, but she goes over her whole downfall, and her money was taken from her. She got nothing. She earned millions of dollars. I mean, she had the blonde spiky hair. If you see a picture of her, you'll totally know who she is. How some of these people got screwed over by their management just blows my mind, and how the management that screwed over these actors and performers and whatever could sleep soundly at night. Hopefully they're not now. Hopefully they're not sleeping soundly now, because that is disgusting. I just don't know how they all got away with it, but they did. They truly did. It's very sad, because the talent is the one that made the money for them. How could you not at least do, make sure they're all set for the rest of their lives instead of being greedy and selfish and yicky? And hopefully it all came back and bit those managers in the ass. Anywho, let's move on to the next thing. So there you go. If we want to do a deep dive into the Brady Bunch, I'm more than happy. Let me know. Brian May and Roger Taylor recently came out and said, yeah, they'd be down for a hologram show after they're gone. Oh gosh, I don't know. I wouldn't go. But ABBAs have been, very, very successful. This is from the independent.com. Sir Brian May has hinted at an ABBA Voyage-style AI hologram show, potentially reuniting the band's lineup. I just don't think I would like it. I have no desire to go to the ABBA one, even though it's not here. I think it's just only overseas. The 78-year-old Sir Brian, let me put the sir in there, revealed he and drummer Roger Taylor, they're exploring the possibilities of bringing back Freddie Mercury, who passed in 1991, and bassist John Deacon, who retired in 97 and is a complete recluse. Boy, if he ever opened his mouth and talked now, I'd watch that one. Oof, would I ever. And Sir Brian said Freddie is still alive through the music that we listen to all the time. 1,000,000,500 bazillion%. I love listening to Queen. Love it, love it, love it. Freddie Mercury, greatest frontman of all time ever. There will never be another. I don't believe so. I really don't. Like, even listening to Queen now, it's so moving, and you really can feel Freddie's presence whenever you listen to Queen music today. I do anyway. So Sir Brian went on to say, in a sense, John is still with us in the same way, but we now have so many other opportunities. I mean, things that are immersive, like the Sphere in Las Vegas. And someone recently told me she saw the Eagles there, and it was absolutely incredible. An incredible experience, very expensive, but well worth every penny. It will be possible to give people the experience very closely of what things were like for us when we were Freddie, John, Brian, and Roger, and that really appeals to me. It wouldn't just be playing old footage or whatever. It would be creating Queen as if we were creating it today. So would it be Queen age progressed today, Queen? Or would it be Queen from the 70s, early 80s, some 90s Queen? So I'm not really sure what that would look like today. And he went on to say, I'm very taken with the idea that we can be the original Queen again. I don't know. I know people would go to it. I just, like I said last week, I think, with everything going on, Journey, John leaving, retiring and stuff, I just personally like staying back here with all of that. because that's when the music made me feel good and, made me have the good memories that I do. So, I don't know if a hologram thing would work here in the United States. Maybe it's great overseas. Things are different overseas when it comes to music. I mean, Japan. I'm like great over there. Maybe if I went there, people would love me. They don't love me here, but they might love me in Bulgaria. I don't know. But things are just different overseas. Some of the best bands we've had were great in the UK before they became great here, and some of them just stayed great over there and never became great here. It's just a different market. So I saw this article, about Queen potentially becoming a hologram, and I said, "Oh, what's going on with Mary Austin? She's the one that got all of Freddie's money." Well, she's still around, I guess, and she's about 72 or 73 years old, not quite sure. She lives a very private life in London, allegedly. And most recently, when Queen sold their music catalog, she got a bunch of that money. So she'd be rich. She got the funds. She's making it rain every moment of every single day. And she did auction off a lot of Freddie's personal belongings back in 2023. And she put the proceeds from that auction into his home, Garden Lodge, which I guess is on the market. I'm not quite sure if AI is correct with all of this information, but I'm just reading it as it is. And let's see. She's still a guardian of Freddie's memory and estate, still receives royalties from the music. And I guess the mansion is up for sale. Let's see. Garden Lodge up for sale. Yes, Freddie Mercury's home, Garden Lodge, is still for sale as of April of 2025. Yo, we're in November. It was listed in February of 2024 for about 38 million. It is not yet sold, but its contents were sold separately at auction. And while Mary is still, very, very private, she made statements about her experiences with Freddie, including expressing her love and respect for him and for his legacy. Oh, and this just came out in People magazine 2 days ago. Where is she now? His ex-fiance. Oof, that went wrong, didn't it? Like, wow, Matt, I don't know. My brain would be kind of messed up, right? However, can I just say, I did have a friend in high school. And listen, just calm down. All right, it's fine. Everything's fine. And I'm not going to say his name, sweet guy, but he followed me around like a puppy dog. And I know that he liked me that way, but it ended up he didn't like people like me anymore, which is cool because I never dated him. However, she was engaged. Mary was engaged to Freddie. So quite interesting on maybe the mind stuff that went on. Yeah, whilst. You notice they say overseas whilst. They don't say while. WHILST, whilst. I don't know. These things that come in my head, it's just ridiculous. Anyway. Okay. So they met in 1969, Mary and Freddie. They got engaged in 73, but they split 3 years later. It was a whole 3 years before they split up in 1976. So there was a pretty long relationship there. But they did stay in each other's lives, as you all know, until Freddie passed on November 24th of 1991. My gosh, that was yesterday. His anniversary up in heaven was yesterday. Holy moly, didn't even know that. Did not I literally hadn't I didn't know. But, she still carries on everything and yes, this is a whole article. You can read this. It's on people.com. It just came out 2 days ago if you're interested. All right, so I do have a couple of jokes. Yesterday was not a joke day for me because my little buddy Louie went to heaven. He's over the Rainbow Bridge. I don't want to start crying again. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. But so I can do, dirty but not so dirty jokes today because I can. Every day is going to be different, right? All right, so here's this is ridiculous that I'm jumping into this after saying that, but I am. So here we go. I have to giggle, but I'm running out. I'm just telling you. I got to find jokes somewhere else. Anyway, okay. So, what does a hot dog use for protection? Condiments. Why? Made me giggle. And here's the only other one that made me giggle from this screenshot. Okay, ready? Dirty but not so dirty joke. What do you call an Italian hooker? A prostitute. I'm sorry, that was funny. That was a funny one. I like that one. Sorry. Okay, what was the number one song on this day, November 25th of 1984? Do you know? Let me see. I'm gonna go quick to the comments. Do you know? All right, ready? The number one song on this day, I looked, it wasn't there, probably because there's a little time delay here, but the number one song on this day, November 25th of 1984, was by Wham, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. I always thought they were saying, Wake Me Up Before You Go Girl. That's what I thought. I didn't know they were saying go go. But it was wake me up before you go, girl. That's what I thought it was. Wake me up before you go, girl. Right? It flows, it fits. And on the same day that song hit number one, Band Aid recorded the charity single Do They Know It's Christmas, which later went to number one in the UK. Another fun fact, I did not know that. So today, special day, number one song on this day, 1984, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And it was the same exact day that they recorded, Band Aid recorded, Do They Know It's Christmas, featuring the late and great George Michael. And I guess Andrew Ridgeley had to be there too, right? Was he there? Let me know. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous day. Let me just make sure. Let's see. So, EVP, hi, Evie. Thank you for being here. And down is up. Happy holidays to you too. I will hopefully be back in the morning, but thank you all for being here today. You guys are great. And yes, I think Sherry said insanity or somebody said insanity. Yep, Susan Powder, insanity. Go look her up. Pretty incredible story. So, guys, I hope you have yourselves a great day. Please download the free app to Kiki.fm, playing all of the greatest in classic hits, hands down. And subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and give yourselves a big, ginormous hug from me to you because you're all just so great. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to my members, Jenny, Jim, Kathy Bailey, Christine, Red's Ma, Patty, and Tanya. You guys support us here to keep us here and on the air over there. Have a great, great day. Remember, I love you, love you, love you. Mwah. I love you, Louie, and I miss you so very much. And guys, I will see you soon. Have a fabulous, fabulous day.